Welcome, collectors. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Diecast Emporium. In this classic construction models review, we're going to be taking a look at the CCM Cat 349E LME hydraulic excavator, made mostly of diecast in 1/48 scale. Now, this model came out in 2015 alongside another 349E that CCM offered. That version had the standard boom and stick and had an interchangeable bucket. If you'd like to see my review on that, although it is a bit dated, it's one of the first reviews I did on this channel, take a look at the top of your screen. Right now, you will see a suggested link to that, although again, I can't emphasize this enough. It's not up to the typical quality of my reviews today, so just give me a little bit of leniency there. All right, information about the real Cat 349E. It continued the industry standard for general quarry and heavy construction applications set by the 300 series family of excavators. The excavator had a Cat C13 Assert diesel engine that delivered up to 425 horsepower. The mass excavator configuration enables increased digging forces due to the geometry of the boom and stick relationship. The bucket linkage and cylinders are also built for increased durability. That's information about the real machine. Let's turn our attention back now to the CCM model. As I alluded to just a minute ago, it was produced in 2015. Back then, the MSRP for the model was just shy of $270 at $269.95. That's U.S. currency, of course. 750 total models were produced. It did come with a serial number spec brochure. However, I don't have mine right here to show you guys. And the reason for that is this model's box, along with the brochure, is currently at my storage unit. For those interested in the measurements associated with this model, it measures 9.5 inches long, 3.25 inches wide, and 5 inches high. All right. The model has a lot of working features on it. It's very functional. It has lots of different posing opportunities. It makes this, in my opinion, one of the best CCM models in 1/48 scale diecast that you can get on the market today. Now, it is pretty hard to get your hands on and get a hold of right now. You are going to have to pay up for it, as is the case, honestly, with most classic construction models nowadays that become what are known as closed editions, meaning you can no longer get them directly from the manufacturer, in this case, CCM. So let's go ahead and go over some of the details on this model and some of the working features. So as you can see right now, I have one of the nice working features on this model already engaged, and that is the opening operator's door, and that allows us to see inside the cab. And this is quite cool, guys, to be honest with you. There's a lot of detail inside. I'm going to try and angle the camera in really tight that you can see there is a decal printed on the control console right there, which looks quite good. In addition to your standard pedals, levers, joysticks, the operator seat inside, it is very, very well done and looks the part. There's even more warning labels and decals that are right here printed on the right side glass inside the cab. There's a good shot of that there. All right, let's close that. Turn our attention now to the other side where we get another opening panel. This is one of two opening engine panels. And again, if you open this, you can see inside there's some individually detailed engine components, which are quite nice to look at. But that's not all. We have another opening engine hatch up on top of the cab, and you can see inside the Cat Assert motor, which looks really good, and there actually is a Cat decal inside. Very, very impressive and very nice to look at. Before we continue on with the features, let's take a look at the decals that are on this model. Again, very impressive. Because this machine is based on a 2015 model, it's going to have the Cat Power Edge trade dress and paint, which Cat first started doing in 2007. There you go. That's how you can tell that red Power Edge or Power Stripe. Cat 349E LME here. Small warning label here, but it is very legible. Cat up here, some more warning labels here on the stick. Nice, robust hydraulic lines that really do look the part all throughout the model. Your hand and grab rails here are metal and not plastic. They are thin and look the part. If we look on the track frames too, you can see that there's lots of nice detailing, not only on the actual track frames, but in the tracks themselves. You have a couple different tie-down points here, which are done up by decals, so you can see perhaps where this would tie down on a lowboy setup. Your rollers here do roll. Again, which adds to the authenticity part of this model. Very hard to see, but there is another warning label here. Some more hydraulic line details all throughout. Here's one of my favorite small details. Even on the bucket, there is a small decal that you can find on a lot of cat excavator buckets even today. Coming alongside, more hydraulic line detail all the way up. In fact, the hydraulic line detail is a very high point of this model all throughout. Check out that, even down here. There's also a fire extinguisher up on top to add some detail. Your venting on your engine is completed with decals and also a little bit of perforation on it. On the back, you have cat, some nice indentation in the casting of the counterweight, some red reflectors, and that really brings us back to where we started. For those that want to see the machine underneath, there you go. That gives you a good look at the detail on each of the individual track pads. There's your CCM logo, your serial number. There's your bucket detail underneath. All right, let's turn our attention now to the functionality of this model. And really, when we're talking about excavator functionality, there's a few things that we look for. Obviously, how well do the tracks roll? They don't roll very well by themselves, but if you move them with your hand very carefully, they can be made to rotate. And obviously, if you have a surface that has a little bit more friction, maybe they will roll a little bit better. You can rotate the excavator 360 degrees, and it doesn't have any sticky or spots where it tends to be stiff. Now, the main excavator functionality is how well does the boom, stick, and bucket work. Well, I can tell you it curls back to there, which is pretty phenomenal. In fact, it's out of frame. It's so good. Your bucket works very well. In fact, it will curl up nice and tight, even for a transport mode. Your digging depth, although hard to show on camera, is very respectable, especially for a high-quality display piece like a CCM model. And as you can see, realistically, it'll dig pretty deep. For the last pose to show you, let's bring in a lowboy, a Rogers lowboy in this case. We'll return the model to a transport pose. Let's bring in our lowboy here. And you can see that the 349 makes a pretty excellent lowboy display pose. So there you go, collectors. That concludes this review of the Diecast CCM Caterpillar 349E LME excavator in 1/48 scale. This is a fantastic model any way you stretch it. As I said before, it's a little bit difficult to get nowadays, and you will have to pay up for it. But it goes very well with the other CCM 349E that was released alongside of it. Or if you're doing a diorama, this CCM model has enough functionality to achieve and mimic most of the real positions that the real Cat 349 did. As always, I'm Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you have a comment or question, please leave it down below in the comment section. Until next time, take care and be safe. I'll catch you in the next review.